All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're diving into something that's, well, it's complicated, and it's incredibly personal for a lot of folks, restoring your federal firearm rights. This is a huge deal for millions of people who've moved past old convictions and are just trying to live their lives. So, let's break it all down.
So here's a situation so many people find themselves in. You've served your time. You've done everything society asked of you. You think you're clear, right? But then you find out a fundamental right, one you thought was automatically restored, isn't. It's confusing, it's frustrating, and honestly, it can feel pretty unfair.
And look, if this is you, you are definitely not alone. This isn't just some rare mix-up. We're talking about millions of Americans who get the shock of their lives when they discover this federal ban is still hanging over their heads. They thought they had a clean slate, but there's this invisible federal wall still standing in their way. So what exactly is this wall? To really get a handle on this, we've got to talk about the why behind the problem. It all comes down to something called a federal firearm prohibition. This is a federal-level restriction, and it's enforced by federal agencies, specifically the ATF. That's the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Now, here's the part that really trips people up. A federal prohibition is exactly what it sounds like, federal. It's a nationwide ban. It doesn't matter what your state's laws are. It applies in all 50 states, and it completely overrides any state-level rights restoration you might have gotten.
So what triggers this thing? Well, the law has a term for it, a disqualifying event. And as you can see, this includes the obvious stuff, like a felony conviction, whether it was state or federal. But, and this is so important, it also includes certain misdemeanors, like one for domestic violence. That's a huge one, because most people have no idea a misdemeanor charge could lead to a lifelong federal consequence.
And that's really the heart of the problem, right? This prohibition becomes part of your personal record. It follows you wherever you go. You can move to a different state, start a new life. It doesn't matter. That federal restriction is still there until you deal with it at the federal level. But does that mean it's permanent? For the longest time, it really seemed that way. But that's not the whole story. Believe it or not, there actually is a potential path forward, a glimmer of hope for anyone who is willing to put in the work.
And here's the kicker. This isn't some new legal loophole. This pathway for relief is actually written right into the federal law itself. For years, there has been a provision designed specifically to let people petition the government to show them, hey, I'm not a risk to anyone anymore.
So you're probably thinking, if this thing exists, how come I've never heard of it? Fair question. For decades, Congress basically cut off all the funding for the program, which meant the ATF couldn't process any applications. It was essentially a dead end. But now, thanks to new legal challenges and more public awareness, things are starting to shift, and that's creating real hope again. We're about to get into the steps you can take, but just a quick note, this video is looking for a sponsor. If you believe in what we're doing, educating and empowering real people, consider sponsoring this content. Contact us at mzofficer001@gmail.com. Okay, so that hope we just talked about, it's tied directly to taking action. And that action begins with one word: preparation. This is the part where you take back control. It's where you start to build the foundation for your case. I can't stress this enough. Preparation is everything. This is not something you can rush. It's not about just filling out a form and hoping for the best. It's a slow, careful process of gathering every single piece of your history. Being patient and organized is the name of the game. So, what does that preparation actually look like? Well, it starts with a whole lot of paperwork. You need to get certified copies of every court record, every document from your sentencing, and rock-solid proof that you completed every single part of that sentence. And on top of all that, you'll need to get official fingerprint identification. But listen, the court documents, that's only half the story. The other half, and you could argue it's the more important half, is proving your rehabilitation. This is where you get to show who you are today. We're talking about a consistent work history, any certificates from education or job training, records of community service, and really strong letters from people who can speak to your character. Think of it this way. You're not just submitting a file. You are presenting your life story to someone who has to make a decision. Your goal is to create a powerful, clear picture that shows, without a doubt, that you have moved on and are a responsible member of your community. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a mountain of work, and it can feel totally overwhelming. But what if you had a roadmap, a structured guide to walk you through every single piece of that preparation puzzle? Well, this is it. It's called the 925C Made Simple Workbook, named after the actual federal law we've been talking about. And it's designed to do just one thing: turn this massive, complicated process into a clear, step-by-step system you can actually follow. It's got checklists and worksheets to make sure you don't miss a thing. And a quick message here. If you're a business owner who believes in our mission of empowerment through education, we invite you to become a sponsor. Reach out at m0officer001@gmail.com. Let's build together. So here's the bottom line. While getting your federal firearms rights back is a tough road, it's a road that starts with you and your own careful preparation. For clear, step-by-step education on this, head over to legalgangster.com. And of course, please remember, this is all for educational purposes. This is not legal advice. Thanks for tuning in.